Hello students, the lesson that we are going to discuss today is Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. It is the second chapter from the book First Flight Class 10th. This lesson is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela titled Long Walk to Freedom. In this chapter, there is a glimpse of the inauguration ceremony along with the memories of past. This chapter begins with the description of the historic date, that is 10 May 1994. On this day, Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa, and the country got the chance to be a part of the world community after almost 80 years. The inauguration ceremony was organized at the beautiful sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of the South Africa's first democratic and non-racial government. On this day, Mandela was accompanied by his daughter Zenani, and he pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and to devote himself for the well-being of the republic and its people. In his speech, he discussed the past, the present, and the future of South Africa. He focused on an incredible human disaster which took place in South Africa. He pointed towards the apartheid, a political system that discriminates amongst people according to their race. He also promised that he would free his people from the discrimination. He said, "Never, never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another." A few moments later his speech, there was a spectacular array of South African jets and helicopters. The day was symbolized for Nelson Mandela by playing of two national anthems. Whites were singing Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika and the blacks were singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. The sight of inauguration ceremony overwhelmed Mandela, and he went down the memory lane. He remembered that in the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the Anglo-Boer War, the white-skinned people of South Africa erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. And this system proved to be one of the inhuman systems of the world. But Mandela has changed it forever by ending the cruel apartheid system in the last decade of 20th century. He said there is no scarcity of gems in his country, as the most precious stone are his own people. He was able to end apartheid because of the sacrifices, the struggles, and the joint efforts of his own people. Mandela also remembered the patriots who died before him. He commented that perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. Mandela remembers how after the speech the chiefs of police and the military saluted him and pledged their loyalty, and the same man would have arrested him not long ago. But this practice had also created brave patriots, men of courage, wisdom and generosity. It was from then that Mandela learned the meaning of courage. Courage, he learned, was not the absence of fear. It is not that these people did not feel fear. Rather, they overcame fears. In other words, the true meaning of courage is not the absence of fear but the conquering of fear. Mandela also understood that no man was born with hate. He was certain that if someone can be taught to hate, they can taught to love as well. According to Mandela, in life, a man had twin obligations, one to his family and one to his country. However, the conditions in South Africa did not allow a man to fulfill both at the same time. Mandela, at first, did not choose his country over his family. He also did not choose his path to freedom at first. While remembering his childhood days, Mandela says, "I was not born with the hunger to be free. I was born free. Free to run in the fields, free to swim in the clear stream, free to roast mealies under the star, and free to ride the slow-moving bulls." As a student, Mandela realized that the boyhood freedom was an illusion. He urged for the transitory freedom for himself. He wanted freedom to stay out at night, to read the books of his own choice, and to go wherever he wanted to. And later, as a young man, he longed for freedom for himself. Freedom to earn, to marry, and start a family. Then he saw that people like him weren't free. It was then that he was filled with the desire to achieve freedom for his people so they could lead lives of dignity and self-respect. Then he joined African National Congress. It changed him from a frightened young man to a bold freedom fighter, from a law-abiding one to a criminal and an outcast. Mandela also believed that the oppressor were as imprisoned as the oppressed. Freedom, therefore, did not mean the freedom for the oppressed. It also meant the freedom for the oppressor. The oppressor was just another man imprisoned by his hatred of others. Everyone, Mandela believed, was deserving of freedom, and they finally got it at the end of 20th century. Thank you.